Good morning, this is Bob Bowker. I'm the representative to Hill Country Community Ministries. Many of you are very familiar with Hill Country. We've been a supporter and partner with them for a number of years. And this year, unlike many others, there's a tremendous increase in the need in our community. And I shared with you at the end of June some of the numbers, how much they had already increased. And so I have had the pleasure of inviting the Executive Director of Hill Country, Tiesa Holloway, and she's going to be with us. She's going to share with us what they've experienced, particularly through the COVID-19 and the need for additional support. And I'm sure she'll also get a comment in at the end of it about the coat and blanket drive we've started participating in 2 weeks ago. So with that, let me introduce Tiesa Holloway. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. So, hello, everyone at Cedar Park United Methodist Church. I am so excited to be on this call. And yes, what a year we've had. And I'm so grateful that you guys have still continued to support us through all sorts of things, from collecting and dropping off food to obviously our coat and blanket drive coming up. And so I first and foremost want to say thank you all so much for what you do for our community. So yes, prior to COVID, we were serving an average of about 14 to 1,500 families a month. It's what we were normally providing food to families. During COVID, we went to a drive-through distribution as of March 30th and ran that program until July. That is where we had separate locations where people could actually just drive through and the food would be put in the back of their car, whether it's in the back seat or primarily in the trunk of their car. And we went instantly to serving about 3,000 families the first month. That's a lot of families, yes. 1,500 families to 3,000. Now, it did go down and we were so grateful it went down. So during the summer, we were serving an average of about 2,200 to 2,400 families. So it went down a little bit. However, if you think about that, when you go from 1,500 families to 2,200, 2,400 families, that's still a lot of increase. As of July, we went to a what we call a curbside. We opened the food pantry back up, but on very limited, like only our volunteers and staff are allowed in the food pantry. We have signs in the parking lot, just like you would have done if you were ordering food and doing pickup. The signs say, dial this number, press 8, and then somebody will bring you your food. And so we've got volunteers, we've got big wagons that have big wheels on it and stuff, and they load up their groceries and they put it in the trunk of the car so we can try to still maintain that social distancing. Speaking of food, I wanted to share, your organization. I had Candy do a quick report and stuff, and I want to say, kudos. You guys brought in over 1,400 pounds of food just during COVID. That's what you guys donated. So that's a lot of food. And I'm so grateful for that because our donations were down. Our food donations were down. And so that just helps us tremendously because when donations are down, what that means for us is that we have to purchase the food to keep up with the demand. And so we are very fortunate with Central Texas Food Bank that we typically spend maybe 10 to 14 cents a pound, but whatever we can't find at Central Texas Food Bank, then we get from HEB partners and we're obviously pay a little bit more. So we've been, again, blessed enough to be able to have received donations from you all and some other organizations to still somewhat keep up with the demand, but there was definitely a shift there for a while. I mean, when you guys weren't when I say you guys, when the community itself was not finding food on the shelves, I mean, that meant we weren't getting a whole lot either, so it was definitely very challenging. Fortunately, again, Central Texas Food Bank, there was definitely enough supply to keep up with this demand. We are now getting ready for our holiday season, and we are anticipating not receiving 20 to 25,000 pounds worth of food that we normally typically get during the season. And that's because there's not going to be a lot of large food drives. There's not going to be some events that we typically benefit from. And so that's what we're trying to do right now is work with some organizations and maybe some churches. Some people talk about being able to maybe do their own food drives and do drive-through food drives or whatever, and then, coordinate a time to bring it to us, or if it's large enough, we can obviously help with the truck or whatnot. But yes, we also have our coat and blanket drive, and that distribution will happen on November 8th. So if you're collecting coats and blankets, and by the way, the big need right now is children's coats, not babies, but children's. We only have one rack of children's coats, and we will go through those quite a bit. But we've got a lot of adult coats, which we're grateful for. But last year, we just did, this was our first year because we had the thrift store, and we distributed over 230 coats like within 2 hours. So we expect that number to be up as well this year.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on, and we're just grateful for what you all do and your prayers. I know a lot of you pray for us, and I'm grateful, and those that are still able to kind of get here and obviously drop off things and pick up things, and we just really, really appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate all the work that you do and all of your volunteers.
Yes.
And, you know, it's something that we as an individual church would never be able to do on our own, as with many of the other churches that combine. And so it's a great opportunity. I did volunteer up there for a period of time, so I know firsthand how wonderful everything is that goes in there. We really appreciate everything you and all your partners in there do. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Bob, so much. And please let me know if there's anything I can do for you all. And thank you guys for what you do for us and our community.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.